here. Gotta share it. Still learning how to do all this stuff. I will eventually figure this out, and it will be smoother than it is now. All right, we are live. All right, let's close all this out. All right, guys, welcome, welcome, welcome. This is Scrooge's Juice Bar, where we try to get the most juice every day for you to trade. Every day, we're going to be doing a rundown of the stock options flow, insider trading, and we're going to do short squeezes during the daytime. The 3 p.m. version is the blue collar edition, where we'll really be focusing on those of you who have to work all day and cannot be here, just giving you some options and some plays, and with straddles and overnight swings, and we even do an end of the day credit spread strategy that is 90% success rate, and has the ability to double your account every couple months. So if you haven't seen that, feel free to come back at 3 o'clock, Monday through Thursday. On Friday, I'm not going to be doing the blue collar edition. There's a lot of volume issue at the end of the day. It's pretty quiet. And yeah, Fridays are just not going to be the day for me. All right. So, anyway, so we're going to jump right into this, guys. We're going to start out with the stock options flow. Now, this is going to be a play that you guys can utilize every morning from about 10 a.m. till 10:15, no later than about 10:30. No, I can't say that. Sometimes they run all the way to 11 o'clock. But when you talk about scalping and you talk about anything with options, getting in and getting out quicker is always going to, well, I can't say is always going to be better, but is usually the optimal way to play them based on, decay and things like that, that can come back and take away some of your profits. So what we're looking for in this are two things. We're looking for some propellant, and then we're looking for the chart to confirm what the propellant is telling us. So the propellant would be, as you see right here, it says call premium bought, and it says put premium bought. So what we're looking for is a huge difference in the amount of puts or the amount of calls being bought. Now, there are some other metrics that you can look at here, like how much is being sold, but it really doesn't matter that much, because ultimately we're just using this list to get some ideas. And then we're immediately going to take what we see here, go over to the chart, and try to confirm what we see. And if we are actually in the middle of a breakout, then we enter the position, like I said, from about 10 a.m. till 10:15. So today, unfortunately, I wasn't able to grab a position. I was in one of the TradeCaster rooms here getting some education, and I missed the opportunity. But what I'd like to do is go over it with you and just kind of go over some of the things that I had seen, but I was just a little too late. And also what we'll do is we'll go over the one that I grabbed yesterday, to just kind of give you guys an idea of how to play these. I'm going to go ahead and do that now, actually. INTC, I think was Intel. Yeah, INTC. So this is the play that I got into yesterday. Right here is where I was. Okay, so right at 10 a.m., you can see that we've confirmed that there was just a massive upswing. All right, now there's some shadowy candles here, which is scary. But once we cracked that MA, I felt really good about the rip. I felt like it was just going to keep on going. And we were right. I got in here, was looking for an exit at the last place that it consolidated. I don't remember, but I remember thinking that it was going to be right around here where it was going to start chopping. So I just took the swing, or the scalp, sorry, from here to here, and was able to easily make 20%. Had I held on to that, I mean, I could have seen 60 or 70% for sure. Um, but I like consistency. I like locking in my gains. I like knowing that I've already won rather than holding on for a little bit more. If you guys have the account size, I'm always favorable to closing, 80 to 90% of your positions and leaving a runner or two, just to see if it keeps going, like in this situation. But what you'll find when you do these, is that you'll find that, you know, you're going to get about one, maybe two or three a day that are absolutely ripping when you look at them. And could this strategy be run without looking at this chart? Absolutely. You can just find something that's breaking out and jump in and hope to get the, look at the levels and hope to, get your percentage that way. I prefer to do it this way because I do have a subscription to Fintel. Now, guys, over the course of this video, I am going to be highlighting Fintel a bunch of times. For the stock options flow, I actually don't have a free alternative. You guys might, and if any of you do, feel free to go ahead and put that in the chat, so that way, people can access that. But for the insider trading tracking and the short squeeze data, I do have FinViz scanners that you guys can use for absolutely free. Now, as far as Fintel, I have reached out to them recently and asked them about affiliation, and I just haven't heard anything back yet. Hopefully, they will partner up with me, and I will be able to offer you guys some discounts on Fintel moving forward. But let's go ahead and just jump right into this. So, looking at the discrepancy, what I'd like to see is about a 10-to-1 difference in the premium bought and the premium bought between the calls and the puts. So here, the very first one, we can see it's a really good example. It's about a 10-to-1 difference. So when we go ahead and run over to the chart and we look at NVDA, we can see that this morning it absolutely did not follow the trend. By 10 o'clock, right here, when we were looking at it, it had confirmed that it ran out of steam and that it was actually turning around. So at this point, the call option propellant that we seen here, the amount that was bought, did not substantiate or did not dramatically change the movement of the price enough to where we were able to get in and scalp a nice little 20% every day. So, well, every time that we trade. So, if you guys, I mean, do the math, if you can add 20% every 5 trading days, you're literally doubling your account every 5 trading days. This can easily be done on a small account. And if you're only doing the one scalp a day, which if you're just trying to grow a small account, I do suggest just finding one thing that works and repeating it over and over again. Um, if you are trying to just do one scalp a day, you can easily just switch from your margin account to your cash account and run this every single day. You don't have to worry about the day trade, issue at all. So cash accounts, you guys can run this every single day that you see the option or the availability to do so. All right, so we can go ahead and move on down. Citigroup, huge. I mean, this is a 100-to-1 difference. This is huge. So let's go see what Citigroup did. I believe this is one that I wanted to. Yes, I was watching Citigroup because I felt like if it broke out of here, it was just going to rally and go. Unfortunately, it just never did. So that propellant that they had with the call premium that was bought just wasn't enough. So that would not have been a play that we would have wanted to get in on. Okay, coming on down the list here, we see that Google had a huge difference. I mean, here's almost a million. Here's almost only 10,000, worth of premium that was purchased here. So let's go ahead and just go look at Google. Let's see what Google did today. And I feel like a lot of the big names are going to follow SPYs, right? So a lot of them are probably just going to spike up early in the morning and then consolidate. For Google, you'll see it was choppy all day. So when you looked at that around 10 o'clock, you would have just seen that there was no confirmed breakout. Maybe you would have watched right here and just seen if it was going to crack the MA and seen if it was going to keep pumping. But when you had this definitive downturn, you at that point got to know that that just wasn't the play for you today. All right, AMD, same thing. It's almost a 10-to-1. So that's kind of what we're looking for on these. So just going down the list one by one, hopefully you're going to find something that is absolutely moving that direction. Now, right here, you can see why we wait till 10 o'clock to jump in. Because if we had gotten in first thing in the morning, like everyone else, well, like a lot of people who've seen the morning spike, they would have said, oh, here we go, start rubbing their hands together, thinking they're going to have a big day. And next thing you know, the stock market does what the stock market does and corrects itself. So, we like to come in right around 10:05, right around for that reason, because we want to know that it is actually breaking out, that it is actually taking off. All right, guys. So when I was looking at this morning, like I said, I didn't see any plays that I wanted to take. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to give you guys any good examples, which is why I went ahead and in the very beginning went back to the one from yesterday, so you guys can see exactly what we're looking for. So here, same thing with MU up down by 10 o'clock. We would have seen that it's not confirming the propellant, and we would have just not taken that trade. Um, let's go to one that I didn't go to this morning and see if we could just find something. Let's see, DVA, because I mean, I looked at this list pretty good today, so nothing special there. It feels like all of them are kind of following the same pattern. Microsoft, I looked at this morning, was not a good example. Well, let's look at Microsoft. I mean, honestly, some of them actually weren't bad. I just was looking at them late. All right, same thing. That wouldn't have been a play that we wanted to take. We'll look at a few more of these, but ultimately, if I just don't find anything, um, here's a 10-1 for TK. Is it TKO or ZM? No, it's ZM. This one was to the put side. Well, guys, I mean, I can't say that I hate this one. We would have been looking at 10 o'clock. We maybe would have been watching it to break this candle here. And then when it did, we could have entered the put side here and then, rode that right on back down. That could have absolutely, yeah. Okay. So this right here was probably the play of the day. I just didn't see it earlier. I would have been watching this, wondering which way it's going to move. And like I said, once it cracked this candle here, I think I would have felt really good about jumping in. You would have seen that the momentum had definitely shifted at that point, creating a lower low. So at that point, I probably would have got in and just rode it to the MA and got myself a nice, it looks like a good probably 30%. And it's hard to know though. I mean, it depends on what you get in on the contract, the strike. There's so many metrics involved when it comes to the Greeks, so that's why they actually have options calculators that will give you, some sort of an actual idea of what profits you would be realizing. But we don't have time for that in the morning. We're just going to jump in at 10 o'clock. We're going to ride it till 10:15. Take what we can take. Once we see some sort of a support level that it's about to bounce off of, or a moving average it's going to bounce off of, we'll go ahead and close the position, take our profits, take our gains, and slowly but surely increase our account size. Okay. And that's what we can do. And that's what you can utilize here with this 10 a.m. till 10:15, 10 a.m. till 10:30, no more than 11. I've seen it, spike and then finally run out. It seems to be right at 10:30 that, things change a little bit. From 10 to 10:30 is primo, baby. Primo. All right, guys. So we're going to go move on to the second part of this show. We're going to do insider trading tracking. Now, what is an insider? Okay. An insider is going to be anybody who is a 10% shareholder, anybody who is a director of the company, a vice president. You have CEO, OOC, everything under the sun O's. They have lots of different options when it comes to who is an insider. But the reason that this matters is that people get the same reports that we're going to be looking at here today. And when these filings take place, what it does is it shifts the mentality of the mob. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, when I first became a member of Tradecaster, I dove into all the training and research materials. Deck has some really good information as far as how the stock market works, why it works, why do these prices go up, why do these prices go down, and it all really comes down to the mentality of the mob. You got buyers and you have sellers, and they're competing, and if one side gets their confidence shaken, they're going to pull back. They might even close positions. So that consistent shift of mindset is why this insider trading is so effective. Excuse me, is why this insider trading is so effective. Okay. So what's going to happen is people are going to get these filings. They're going to look at the same information that we're going to look at here today, and they're going to think to themselves, if this person is adding positions or reducing positions at such a dramatic rate, or whatever the indicators we're about to go over, then maybe that means that this price is going to move soon. And that will shift the mentality of the mob, and that will create a little bit of a price break. So going over this, I will do the FinTel version and I will do the free version for FinViz. I've actually had more success with the FinViz version. Just using the screeners that Deck helped us set up in one of the videos he put out, I would say about 2 months ago, where he really went over FinViz screeners. So I took his FinViz screeners and I started testing them. And guys, they tested like wildfire. Right off the bat, I was getting, well, here, I can actually show you guys here. So this was right after I watched his video. I started buying options, swing trading overnight based on his recommendations. And as you guys can see here, I did pretty well. Not only was I growing this account, I was getting gains as high as 70 or even 200%. Now, if I was actually in these trades, I would not have realized 100% profit unless I woke up to it the next morning. Awesome. I'm not going to stay in a trade to see what it's going to eventually turn into. I'm going to take my gains before the market takes it back. However, when you're testing, you have the ability to see what the high side was. Okay, if I had a large account and I just closed like 90% of my positions and I had that one contract that was still a runner, how high could it have gotten? And that's the great thing about testing is you can really kind of dial that in and see well in these instances I would have been better getting the heck out of there. Well, in these instances I would have been better letting it run. Well, you never really know, right? And that's why we say lock your gains. That's why it's such a popular phrase across the trading world. But anyway, here you can see that a lot of these were just really good. And I mean, there was days where it was super consistent. I didn't even have a loss in like five. If you can do five option plays in a row and they're all winners, 20, 27%, 125%, 30%, 50%, 50%, 100%, that's I'm sorry, that's not options trading. Like, if you can find that kind of consistency in options trading, you're probably one of those guys that's charging, a couple hundred or a couple thousand people subscription fees every month because that's amazing. And all I really did was looked at his screener, what he suggested that we do, and I'm going over that next. And then I just went ahead and just tried to find the best entries, or a lot of these actually I didn't do that. I just randomly jumped in at the end of the day and woke up with a big old gain the next day. So, the FinViz version has actually been more reliable. However, with the insider trading with Fintel, you can get a lot more data and you just feel a lot more secure, going into the trade. You feel like you kind of have a leg up. Okay, insider trading. What do we do here? Okay, well, there's three major red flags that we're going to look for while we're going through this data. Okay, the first red flag is we're going to compare the shares that were traded compared to the remaining shares that they have. Did they close 10% or more of their position? Did they add 10% or more of their position? Because to me, that's a substantial amount to add or to subtract from your positioning. So that would be indicative of maybe something that we want to look at. Maybe there's something there. Okay. The second thing is going to be the value of the trade. If they're trading, $300,000 worth of shares here, or if you scroll down a little bit, no, there's no $1 million ones. Okay, but still, you got a few that are six digits, 200,000, $150,000 worth of shares. When people get these reports and they see that someone took $500,000 of their personal shares and got rid of them and sold them, that alone can create some panic for people who are holding, or it can create some optimism for people who are looking to get into a play on either side. So that's why these work. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and go through. Oh, and then the third red flag that we look for is just multiple insiders on the same ticker. So here we actually have a really good example of that. Just looking right away, we see ALTR is on this list many, many times. Well, normally when that happens, that means there's and PT and PSTV is also another great example of this. So two of the first ones that we have today are showing you that multiple insiders are all trading this. Multiple insiders. That's the third red flag. So if you get, any one of those flags, we want to take a look at that. We want to get more information. So the very first thing we have is PSTV. I am out of water, guys, here. I might take a little water break here in a second, but yeah, so we'll go ahead and get started. Sorry. PSTV. Okay, now you'll see that the director, the financial officer, director, so several directors and a financial officer all went ahead and added positions. They added positions around $10,000 to $20,000 each, and some of these positions were substantial. Like for Mr. Peterson here, you can see that he added about a quarter to his positions. I mean, these are huge. This guy, Mark, added all of his positions, so didn't even have any shares at this time. So let's go ahead and just look at one of these. And here we can find out whether or not it was part of an automatic trading plan, which you can see here it was not. Okay. Also, a problem I see here is that the trade date was 2 days ago, and he's already gained 10% on this trade. So, guys, we might be a little bit late on this one, is what it looks like to me. Um, yeah, I'm not even going to go through these one by one. Let's just go look at the stock price here. PSTV, bring it on up on the chart here. And what you'll see is ever since they added their positions, where did they get in here? That's the flow. We'll get rid of that. Okay. So whenever they added their positions, they all added it at $2.04. And you can see that it's already been on a heck of a spike since then. They've added about 10%, like they said. So this lower a drop here might be a good dip buy opportunity to go ahead and take it to the upside. I would definitely keep watching this one through lunchtime and just say, hey, look, PSTV went on a big run. It's got a little bit of a pullback here. It's got some great accelerant. You have all these insiders that are all wanting to add positions at right about this price. They got in at 204, guys. We're at 215. We're right there. So I love this. If you wanted to add shares, I love it. We can go ahead and just take a look at what the what the options say, and we can see that it's not optionable. And I kind of knew that because it's only a $2 stock, but it's important to know, if they're optionable. It's important to see if the volume is high on the options, and I'm going to show you guys how to do that here in just a second. All right, so we're going to work our way up. We are done with PSTV. I do believe, like I said, grabbing some shares of that would be a pretty good idea. Guys, let me get some water. All right, guys, got my little pillow here. Legs are starting to hurt in this chair. All right. All right, so we move on to the next one. ADNT. We got a sale here by the director of 4,000 shares. Um, that's more than 10%, guys. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at that. Okay. Peter Carlin, he sold 4,000 shares. Now, right away, what you can see is that it was not part of an automatic trading plan. Another thing we can see is that the last two times that he sold stocks, he was right. He avoided pretty substantial losses. So those two things right there, or that there gives us some pretty good confirmation that this guy might know what he's talking about. He might be an insider. Um, Oh, it's Peter Carlin for ADNT. We did skip one there, though. I'll go right back. ADNT. All right. Now, when did Mr. Carlin take this trade? It was yesterday, guys. Okay. And he also took it at 28.90, which we're pretty close to now. Um, Remind me again what he did. He bought? No, he sold. Okay, so he sold. So we've already seen some pretty big dramatic movement since he sold. So honestly, my thought is that we might have missed this one. However, this dramatic up spike and retest might be something to watch. If it fails here and just starts plummeting back down, at that turn, that might be the perfect spot to go ahead and grab this put. Um, so let's see here. ADNT. Gonna go ahead and add symbol ADNT. And we'll just kind of keep an eye on that. Oh, it doesn't want me to add that. Hold on, give me a second. Um, Okay, we can get rid of CHD. So CHD was one that we had highlighted earlier in the week. It absolutely is doing what it's supposed to do, but this was actually the perfect example of the volume problem that I was just talking to you guys about. So when you come over to the option and you kind of want to get into it, the first thing you'll notice is that sorry, with swing trades, we like to go no less than 2 to 3 weeks out. We do not want decay to eat us up in the couple days before the move might happen, right? So what you can do here is you can kind of go down a little bit to like 100 put. All right. And what I noticed with this earlier and was a big problem for me was a giant spread. Okay, so let's say it becomes a little. Okay, so stuff like this it was another option. It was literally the first option I looked at last time. It was like 7, and it was right next to the money. It was like 105, and it was a huge spread. Nobody right here, right here. This is it right here. This is it. So it's a 7-day spread, and look at the difference here. Okay, so the buyers believe that this isn't worth anything. The sellers believe that this is worth $1. So you'll wake up and you'll see a 45 cents and think, "Oh, I made some money." Or, "Oh, I lost some money." But then you won't be able to close the position. This is the worst case scenario for swing trading. Getting stuck in a position that you are unable to close either while losing, while winning, is absolutely frustrating. Putting in a market order first thing in the morning and still seeing that market order open at the end of the day with no fills will for me, it drove me a little nuts. I mean, I do not play plays like this. So with CHD and seeing how these options are acting, and there's certain times where the spreads are just gigantic, I am not interested in that play because I need more volume than that. So we'll get rid of CHD, and while we're doing this, we'll just run over the ones from yesterday. Rev G never made its downward turn, never showed us any weakness. I would keep an eye on it for another day and see if we can crack that MA. Kex is starting to show the weakness right now, actually. We're seeing the break. We're seeing the movement that we were waiting for. So at this point, I'd be very interested in taking a put swing here with Kex. Um, we're going to option trade. We're going to look at a put. We're going to go no less than 2 to 3 weeks out, guys. And with a put, we believe that it's going to come down. Oh, wow. Okay, so even if it only made up half, let's say a quarter of this, we'd be at 114. So I'd be okay with like a 110. Maybe. Nah, it might be too far away. 110 put. All right, guys, here we go. Here's another example. So the put contract for a month away at 110, which is only $5 away, is absolutely a possible thing to happen. The buyers and sellers do not agree. The buyers are at 0. The sellers are all the way at $3.80. So this will be one of those where you wake up and you see, oh, $1.90. Oh, I just tripled my money. I just quadrupled, and you cannot close it because there's no buying action. There's no buyers. They're not interested. So any options plays you get in on, I cannot stress it enough. Volume, volume, volume. Check stuff like this. Play around. Okay, well, if it goes up a little bit and I'm this far out of the money, what's these options look like? And make sure as you're getting farther away from the strike that there's still some volume, because some of these literally by the second strike or third strike away, the volume's dead. This right here is a perfect example. This is one strike away, guys. Look, the price is 115. We're one strike away and the volume's gone. And this is a 40-day expiration. I mean, they have forever for it to possibly hit 110. This would be something that you would think people would be interested in, but they're just not. So, you can't, there's nothing you can do about that. Just avoid those plays with everything you got. So we're out of that one. CB. Ooh, okay. So CB is absolutely doing what it's supposed to do. Finally, we got that turn. We got the high upper shadows. We got some weakness. So right about here, as it fell below the gap, I would absolutely have entered a put, and I would just ride it down to the MA. It looks like on this one we're going to be a little late. I missed it. I didn't see it, but yeah, this looked like this would have been great. You caught it here, or at least here when it filled the gap, and just ride it down to the MA. That's a great little put a scalp or swing that you guys could take advantage of. And PRU is doing the same thing. So all the plays that we were looking at yesterday are actually happening now. They're actually doing what they're supposed to do. We can see now how this insider transactions can change everything. Look, I mean, this is up, 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 up and away, and all of a sudden the insider makes a move, and we just see, you see the reversal. And trying to guess these is pretty impossible. But when you see confirmation and you see, hey, look, it's broken. It's clearly moving to a downtrend. That's when you jump in, ride it for a little bit, get yourself a nice little 30% gain. All right, so PRU, I believe, is both of these are doing what they're supposed to do. So it's nice to see the insider movement. And I told you guys yesterday, a lot of the times that I'm wrong about these, I'm off by a day or I'm off by 2 days. I mean, nobody can ever know exactly when the movement is going to happen. You just kind of do your best to find an entry. All right, guys, so we're going to keep pumping on these insider trading tracking on Fintel. Next is going to be FinViz, the free version. So just stay tuned. All right, so WLKP, we can see that they added 10,000 shares, but he already has 160,000 shares. So even though this is a 200,000, well, okay. So even though the first flag that I told you guys didn't flag, which is the shares compared to the shares that they own, the second flag did flag, that's a lot of money. That's $200,000 worth of shares that an insider has now purchased. So that alone, guys, should be enough to change the mentality of the mob and get people starting buying and getting that price moving for us, right? So let's go ahead and look at Mr. Kenner and what he normally does. First thing that we can see is that this was not part of an automatic trading plan. Okay, that's good. If it's part of an automatic trading plan, that doesn't indicate any insider information. But if he all of a sudden does something out of the ordinary, maybe he knows something. So we go down in his history and you can see that he actually in 2003 took a lot of these kind of trades and was profitable almost every single time. No, every single time he made money. So when this guy makes moves, he makes money. That's what we just seen from this chart. Boom. We have our confirmation, guys. Let's go look at it. WLK, what was it? P? Sounds like a radio. Hello, everybody. Welcome to WLKP, where we just print money, or something like that. All right. So he purchased on the 8th. So 2 days ago, he purchased what did he get it for again? 22.10. So he gets in for 22.10 on the 8th, right around here. Price starts dropping. Okay. Dip by, dip by, dip by, guys. That's all I see right here. If his insider movement is starting to catch wind right here. We weren't in a downfall, but the earnings, I think, was just kind of correcting itself and coming back from that big earnings spike. But guys, I would say that this one could be absolutely prime for a call swing. We have the insider movement. What's okay? They had a dividend. Okay, I don't think that'll affect us at all. But this guy's I might be prime for an insider swing. We can see that whenever Mr. Kenner takes trades, he's right. And we can also see that the price is very close to what he paid at 22.10. So at this point, what I would do is I would go over to my brokerage and I would just see, hey, do they have any options? How does the volume look? Is this going to be something that we really even want to keep a look at? All right, so the first thing we go ahead and do is, like I said, no more than 2 or 3 weeks. We got to go higher than that. When you get those monthly contracts and you're within that last 2 weeks, you're going to have to push it out. That's going to make it to where a lot of these are going to be too expensive and you can't even play. So if that's the situation, that's the situation. So what we can see here is that there's a 15-cent spread, even at something that is right next to the money. That is worrisome, guys. So we're going to drop it down a little bit. We're going to, oh wait, was it he added position. So we want to call and we want to just get out of the money a little bit. We want to see what the options are doing as we pull out. And the very first strike that we go to, which is a month away, guys, $25 in a month is very possible, but nobody's interested. Nobody cares. The bid is zero. The buyers say it's worthless. The sellers say, no, it's not. It's worth something. And this kind of action will absolutely get you killed. You will not be able to close your position when you're winning. You will not be able to close your position when you're losing. Option volume is the most important thing when trading options. You have to be able to have the volume to get in and out of your positions, or this spread is just going to eat up your profits, or this spread is going to make you stay in the position and not allow you to close it. It is a actual nightmare. So WLKP is not going to be the play for us today, guys. We are moving on. We did ADNT already. We did not look at ATLR yet. Okay, so we have multiple insiders. That's our red flag. They are all selling, but they're not selling very much, guys. I mean, it's not a substantial amount. I would say only James here. James and oh no, that's a different one. So James was really the only one that put down some real money. Let's take a look at him. He's a 10% owner of the company. We can see that when he does, it was not part of an automatic trading plan. Okay, that's important. If it's something he normally does, then it's probably not going to change the mentality of the mob, right? All right. So also we can see that he makes quite a bit of these moves. At least a half dozen or more a year. And when he does, he avoids loss. He's pretty good at this. He seems to know when to sell. Um, I don't know. Let's look. Let's look here. I feel like he might see this is not okay. First of all, I've never seen this much stuff xed out, but what I was looking for is basically how much he's being exercised and how much he normally sells, because sometimes insiders will just sell for personal reasons, right? Maybe they want to buy a house, maybe they want to invest in a business, maybe they want to get into some stocks, maybe they're watching my streams and they're like, wow, this Scrooge guy knows what he's talking about, and they want to invest in. No, I hope not. But the reason that they're liquidating could be absolutely personal, and it might not have anything to do with any insider information at all. And that's kind of why we're going through these. So the fact that he wasn't a big, ding 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 ding, the fact that a lot of these shares are real small. I probably am not even going to look at this chart, to be honest with you. It just doesn't stand out to me as anything crazy. But right in the middle, actually, this does, guys. Here we go. All right. So we got a purchase here of 20,000 shares. Well, the guy only has 24,000 shares. So he just loaded the box, guys. Gilma, no, Robert, Mr. Watson here. Mr. Watson had bought 27,000 shares. It was not part of an automatic trading plan. And we can see when he does this, guys, oh my goodness. These are some of the highest numbers I've ever seen. This guy knows how to trade. When he buys shares, he buys shares. Look at this, 100% gainers, 155. Wow. So he doesn't sell. He doesn't purchase very often. Here's another thing that we like to see. Somebody who all of a sudden just wants to buy a bunch of shares. Hmm. I like this. I like this a lot. Okay, so we're looking at CVM, and he did this 2 days ago, and he did this at the price of $1.30. Okay, so we're not gonna be able to get an option out of this one. It's too low of a cap. However, he loaded the box, and he's right when he loads the box. So where were we again? Right here. Oh yeah, Mister. Okay. So yeah, he bought quite a bit. He bought $30,000 for him. That might be a lot of money. He bought it at, remind me, it was $1.39. So guys, we're actually not that far away from the price that he purchased. So here we see a big old downturn. Right around the time that he got in was down here. I guess he said, you know what? I've had enough of this. We're at the lows. We were low there before. We jumped up. We're gonna jump up again. This might even be a little bit of a squeeze, guys. Just a little bit of action here. So he's trying to get in, and based on that 100% movement, he might be a squeeze trader. He might be absolutely right. So if you guys want to grab some shares of CVM, I am completely with that. I think that is going to be a good trade for you guys, based on the insider movement. All right, guys, we're gonna try to get through these. Normally, it doesn't take this long to do the insiders. All right, ATLR, more ATLR movement. Oh, geez. Okay, so AFL is Affleck. He took 600 shares. Not, it's a substantial amount. It's not 10% though, so that's what we look for, guys. We look for the 10%. We can keep on moving. Um, ASGI, Capital Management. These guys don't move the price that much. They're just always going in and out. So it's not out of the ordinary. So it doesn't create the big shift in movement. Also, Murray Stahl, she just this girl buys 24, 24, 614 every single day. It is always 24, 24, 614 every single day. I don't know why she does it, but it doesn't affect the price, so we don't care. All right, guys, coming over here, CTOS. We got a chief executive officer and a director, Mr. McMonigal. McMonagle. I like that. All right, so he bought 10,000 shares, but he already owns 500,000 guys. So this doesn't really indicate anything really. It doesn't show us anything. So we're gonna move on from that. 3 shares is nothing. 1,000 shares not much. 19,000 compared to 7 million, nothing crazy. Okay, so these share. Oh, okay, this guy here, Procter Gamble. Wasn't that one of the ones we've been looking at for the last couple of days? Wow. All right, so we've had just this week multiple Procter Gamble insiders selling, selling, selling. But when you go to the chart, there's absolutely nothing to tell you why they're doing this. I've been looking at this all week. All week. This is wild, right, guys? Look at this. It's just pumping and pumping. Meanwhile, you have multiple insiders. Multiple insiders. Let's see if we can click the ticker and see. Just this week, how many people have dumped Procter Gamble? This might be the short of May. Can they show us how many of them have done this at this point? Mm, sales. Okay, yeah, we have it right here. We have it right here. So just this week, in the last 3 days, well, it was published 2 days afterwards each time, but you can see since the 6th, 7th, and 8th, okay, 3 major insiders have gotten rid of millions of dollars in shares. This is some of the biggest dumping of a big company I've ever seen, and there's literally no movement. Nothing. I think Procter Gamble, when it finally falls, is going to be spectacular, just based on this insider information that I have. You guys feel free to go ahead and do a little bit more research than that. All right. So yeah, he got rid of 300,000 shares. The guy yesterday was a couple $1 million. The person yesterday was a couple $1 million. The person the day before that was a couple $1 million. So we've had 3 straight days of giant insider trading. I've never seen that before. I believe Procter Gamble is ready to dump. So keep your eyes on that. Like I said, if you see it crack the MA, if you see weakness, I say grab a put. Why not? Why not? See if you can grab yourself a nice little 30% swing on that. Okay, guys. Um, so the very last thing we're going to look at is PDX. No, it's capital. Nope. Sabas Capital Management. We don't look at. Um, yeah, same thing with Sabas Capital Management. So for some reason, when they jump in, or here I can even show you guys NPCT. For some reason, when they jump in, I think it's just because they buy and sell so. Ugh. What did they even do? I don't even remember now. NP. Okay, so they purchased 22,000 shares on the 9th. And yeah, it did pretty well. So wait, here they don't even have anything for today yet. That's so weird. So it's one of those charts that doesn't report right away. I would not touch that, and I can almost guarantee there's no options. When you see a really sketchy chart like this, it usually indicates that the option volume is really low because the stock volume is really low, right? That's what the chart's telling you. That's why we keep getting these giant spikes, is because there's not a lot of movement. So when it finally does, anyway. So yeah, the volume's low on these. We don't take low volume plays. All right, guys, I promised you I would show you the free version. The free version is going to be FinViz. Like I said, Deck did a video not that long ago going over these filters. As soon as I grabbed his filters out of the video and put them into FinViz, magic started taking place. I'm actually more consistent with the FinViz screener than I am with that big old chart of Fintel information that I just went over with you guys. It's great information. It's really detailed, but for some reason, this here has been a lot more reliable. So for my puts, what I do is I'm looking for anything that is up, performance up, right? Volume, we've been talking about it literally all day. Relative volume over 1, we want a lot of volume, and we want the price over $20. Okay, we're not playing small caps in this situation. Also, we want it to be optionable. And you know what? That actually might be why the other method hasn't worked as well, because a lot of those are small cap plays, and these really just focus on the big boys. Okay, so we do optionable, and then we do RSI overbought. We want stuff that's spiking off the page, guys. We want stuff that's up and away. But the only negative in all this is insider transactions. They're decreasing their positions. You guys can just do any negative. You guys can do very negative, under 5%, under 10%. So in this situation, 10% didn't give us anything, but 5% did. So we'll go ahead and take a look at this list here. So when you look at this list, two things you're looking for. You want something that has spiked pretty dramatically recently. You don't want something that's just continuously going up, because just because insiders are getting out of that doesn't mean that it's going to come crashing back down. We want big spike to get big spike back down, right? So the problem though when we see gaps is that a lot of these are going to be earnings plays. Now we completely avoid earnings plays, because just because an insider is getting out of his positions after a earnings doesn't necessarily mean that the price is going to change, and it doesn't necessarily mean that he's had any insider information. Maybe he's just taking profits. I mean, think about it. You're somebody who owns a bunch of shares in the company, and all of a sudden you just seen the price go higher than it has in months. Why wouldn't you sell a little bit? Why wouldn't you go ahead and take advantage of that? You know, you're being awarded these shares anyway as part of your package for working for the company. Why not take that opportunity to get out? So we avoid earnings completely, at least for 4 or 5 days. Allow them to stabilize. Allow them to start making a move back down. And then if you've seen insider transaction on top of that, then that would be like a propellant to keep it moving back down. So this one we would just go ahead and skip because of the earnings, and we'll keep going. Big gap ups like that, it's almost always earnings, but not always. So definitely check it. We got 3 earnings plays in a row. We're not touching those guys. Kava, there we go. Look at that, guys. Earnings, no time recently. We have multiple high days on the back end of just months of upswing. Okay, guys, and now we're getting these huge shadows, and we've broken this trend line. So it looks like it wants to go back to the trend line. And on top of that, guys, this is it. This is every confirmation you could possibly want right here. Okay, we got the insider movement. We got the chart that's yelling our name right now. Perhaps we're a little late on this movement. If we had gotten this information at about 10 o'clock this morning, which I don't know if it was available. I didn't, scan these scanners first thing in the morning. But yeah, definitely could have been great to get in on this swing. I would not grab it now. It's consolidating. Give it some time to decide what it wants to do. If you see another break of this channel back on down to the MA, that could be a really good opportunity for you guys to get yourself a little put scalp or a little put swing to the next day. All right, so Kava looks really good to me, guys. As a matter of fact, I'm going to go ahead and add Kava to the put list here, because this is something that I believe we're going to want to keep an eye on. All right, and we're coming on down. We had an earnings play on CRUS. FICO. Okay, so yeah, we had an earnings. It wasn't that recent, but as you can see, things are taking off a little bit. Yeah, I mean, if I was the insider, I'd be taking my profits too. So I don't know if that's going to indicate a downward fall, or if it's just going to kind of consolidate there for a while. And he just felt like that was a good time to get out. All right, here's another earnings play here. INTA earnings, okay. SRE earnings, okay. And VTOL earnings. Okay, so we really just got the one play for the put side. All right, we're going to switch over to the call swings. All right, it looks like we got 2 candidates. Now, for this, it's going to be basically just the opposite. We want stuff that's down. We want stuff that's down. We want stuff that still has the high volume, and we still want the price over 20, and we still want it to be optional. But now we want the RSI to be beaten down too. So everything is indicating that this thing is down, down, down. Nobody wants this. Nobody. But the insiders. The insiders are trading. They're adding their positions. Well, that right there could be the catalyst for the turnaround, right? And that's the juice here. That's what we're looking for. All right, so we got this play here. Earnings, not touching it. And then we got AMN, also in earnings play. So we're not touching that, guys. Insiders getting out at that point, I don't blame them. Who knows how long it's going to be before things get back to normal. After an earnings play, I've seen things not ever return to normal. So, it could just be a consistent downward spiral at that point. All right, guys. So that is it for the for the swings that we're doing based on the insider trading. Okay, so that completes insider trading. That took like literally all the time, but that's okay. We got a little time left. We're going to go ahead and focus on our short squeezes. Now, short squeeze metrics, the ones that hold on, give me just a second. All right, so I'm told that the ones that really mean the most is going to be stuff like the short float, the shares available, and the borrow free fee rate. Well, this company, Fintel, what they do, and once again, guys, I'm going to do two versions of this. I'm going to do the paid version with Fintel, and then I'm going to do the FinViz version. Okay. So with Fintel, what you can see is that they only update every week, but they give this thing a short squeeze score based on all these metrics. So if you don't know what the heck you're doing, it's fine. They've already went ahead and sorted everything for you. Okay. You can, even though they only update this once a week, you can actually go in here and you can get some updated information. You can see that 24 minutes ago this was updated, and that about 3 hours ago this exchange reported that there were 50,000 shares available. Okay, as you can see here. So watching the availability could be a really good indicator as what is going to squeeze. The borrow fee rates, I'm told, are a really good indicator. When you look at a company like DJT, which has jumped up from 160th place to only third this week, which means it's prime, it's ready to pop. You can see that the shares available as of 4 days ago were gone. They had no shares to borrow. You can also see that the interest rate is spiking. It went from, a pretty constant 150, 200, all the way to 700s just a couple days ago. Okay. So these are the indicators that a short squeeze is happening. Unfortunately, I don't have the ability to tell you when the short squeeze is happening. I watched a video, and basically what it explains is that it's a multi-day event. So you don't really have to know before it happens anyway. It doesn't really matter. So this list here is going to give you a list of candidates, and you just kind of watch the price action. And the price action on the chart are going to tell you when the squeeze is actually happening. So the video that I watched was pretty good about this. We're going to go to MULN. It was just squeezing this week. It's been squeezing continuously for a while now. And this, I believe, is a really good example of the video that I watched actually in action. Okay. So what he says is the first day that the short squeeze happens, it'll jump up a little bit, but that's not the big movement anyway, so don't worry about it. Then it's going to consolidate and come back down. Once it breaks the high, it's going to go again. So we can see, and that's what they said. So then on this chart, you can see confirmation of that. Once it broke that high, it went again. Once it broke the high, it went again. Once it broke, literally, you guys can see it every single time it happens. It spiked, it consolidated. Right here's the high. It spiked, it consolidated. Right here's the high. It spiked, it consolidated. Right here's the high. It spiked, it consolidated. So you had 5 chances to catch squeezes on the way up on this thing. Okay. Then it shorts on down. And then all of a sudden it happens again. We're right back into it. It spikes, comes down, breaks it, spikes again, comes down, breaks it, spikes again, comes down. And then it did not ever break that again. So we're waiting for that moment where this breaks again and it shoots off again. How many times can this happen? I have no idea. But I can tell you that there is some juice on these berries. Looking at this chart, I can see that. Obviously you're not going to short. Nobody wants to get, caught up in a short squeeze on the wrong side. But can you nail a buy or a call option on the way up? Absolutely. Can you start putting put options on the way down? Absolutely. What I notice about these spikes is that the bulls are only in control very short amounts of time. You get a tiny little spot here where they were in control. Then the shorts were winning. The bulls won here, shorts won here. Bulls won here, shorts won here. Bulls won here, shorts won here. So, literally 90% of the time, the shorts are winning. So, how can we play that? Can we be looking for daily puts on these guys? I don't see why not. As long as we haven't cracked that top, we still have the potential to keep dropping on back down. After the last one happened, it took, 2 days to get back. So there's 2 great put days where it just said, oh, Then it spiked, went crazy again. And then what did we have? We had 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, 4 days of just downward movement. So you get 1 day of spike, or a quick moment of spike, and then a lot of bleed. So I believe that's something that can be played. I mean, there's got to be some juice there, right? That we can grab. Um, this one here, oh, okay. So since we walked away and came back, this one looks like it's actually in the middle of a short squeeze. It's happening actually right now. So in this situation, we would just wait for these cracks, and we would just go ahead and grab a call contract or grab some shares and just ride it all the way up. Where it's going to stop, nobody knows. But high upper shadow, stuff could be great indicators that things are going to turn around. Maybe you can come over here to like a 1 minute time frame and start looking for some wicks or some resistance once it finally does turn around. So like right here, if you were riding it from here to here, you kind of would have seen that little wick. You would have seen the reversal. Okay, that's good. Maybe it's all stopped out for now. In order to be profitable, guys, you don't have to ride it to the top. You just have to catch a swing. We know that, right? So here, oh no, RE looks like it is absolutely ready to pop. So here, I'm just going to kind of go down the list, pause this, write them down, take a screenshot, whatever you guys feel like doing. And this is the list of the most likely companies right now to pop, to short squeeze, to keep going. And yeah, it's just a matter of just kind of reading the chart. So let's go ahead and look at one more example real quick. Oh, you know what? We'll go ahead and go over here. All right, so that was Fintel. Once again, if you guys weren't here earlier, I'm going to try to be an affiliate with Fintel. I'm going to try to get you guys some discounts to that website, but you don't need it. You got FinViz. FinViz is right here for you. So once again, I set up this chart based on Deck's recommendations of the video he did a couple months ago where he ran over the screener, FinViz, and really good filters to use for it. I literally plugged this stuff in, guys, and it was like magic. All of a sudden, things just started happening. So, for this list, it's kind of the same thing. You're just looking for some ideas. You're looking for companies to watch, and then just wait for that, that pop, the pullback, and then the second pop, and try to get that second one. No guarantee there's going to be a third, fourth, and a fifth, but most of these I'm looking at least have the two. All right, so here you can actually see the insider owned, the float, the outstanding, the insider transactions, the institutional ownership and the institutional transactions, and the actual float short, which to me is the biggest indicator that it's going to happen. So right now you can see the number one shorted. Well, I can't say that, but the one that's got the highest float is DJT. Okay, so DJT, we're going to take a look at it. What I have seen from DJT is that it has not even started yet. The very first pop, we see like some sort of a increases. We definitely seen a rally from the all time lows that it had hit not that long ago, but I don't see anything that indicates that this is actually squeezed yet. So the squeeze on this one, guys, might be absolutely massive. I cannot say for sure. Okay, so we see a little action here in the beginning, but that's just because it was just, it literally just came out. So I think DJT could squeeze to the moon. I mean, there's a reason that it had jumped up from 130th place to first and second place in the last couple days. There's not shares to borrow. The interest rates are super high. I believe they're going to get squeezed out, and I believe this thing is going to take off. Now, how high is it going to go? That's the thing about squeezes. We don't know. Nobody knows. So get yourself a little profit while you can. Enjoy it. No reason to be greedy. Lock your profits. That's why that is such a common phrase in the trading world. Lock your profits, because Big Daddy Market will absolutely take that money back if you don't want it. So guys, that's about the end of the show today. I usually am back for a blue collar edition from 3 o'clock to 4 o'clock. I'm not going to be running that today. During that blue collar edition, however, we are focusing on people who cannot be here for the trading day, who could not be here for the opening bell, who work 9 to 5s, and who just don't have the ability to trade on a regular basis. I've put together a package for you guys. It's going to be overnight strangles and straddles. Well, it's the same thing. Overnight straddles, swing trades, and a end of the day credit spread strategy that is 90% effective, that can literally double your account every couple months. It's super easy to do. I enter at 3:30. I'm out by 4 o'clock. It's low maintenance. It is a great strategy. I have one from yesterday. If you guys can go check that out, that's awesome. We made easy money yesterday. If not, come back 3 o'clock Monday through Thursday. I'll be here for the blue collar edition, running down plays that you guys can take at the end of the day to either be a cherry on your Sunday if you've been making money all day, or to hopefully get back some of your losses if you had a bad one. Guys, thank you very much for watching. Once again, I want to thank Deck for giving me the opportunity to stream, to give my knowledge and the juicy berries that I have found to you guys every day. Please come back. Please subscribe. Please be a part of this journey. We are just getting started, guys. Thank you very much for watching today. Everyone have a